All right, guys, so I'm going to be taking you through day 2 of SovereignFIT. I'm going to take you through a bodybuilding day. But before we do, I want to talk about my HRV stats here and why over just 2 to 3 weeks, my HRV has trended back up tremendously. It's really for 2 reasons. One, before I got onto SovereignFIT, I was just back to doing CrossFit 4 times a week. And I've talked about how for my lifestyle, that's adding fuel to the fire when it comes to my nervous system and my stress hormones. And so my HRV actually came back down into the 70s-ish range. But now that I've switched over to SovereignFIT, where I'm only doing high intensity, a CrossFit day once a week, and then like a high intensity sprint day, I'm giving more rest, I would say, to my nervous system. I'm better flexibility with my nervous system, which is what this training system is about. I'm not adding fuel to the fire every single day, and immediately my nervous system and HRV has rebounded. And then 2 is, like I said, this training system specifically is meant to train this, right? Flexibility in the nervous system, going from sympathetic to parasympathetic states, and I'm already having a quick adaptation. And so what we would want to see for you guys is if you track your HRV with a Whoop or whatever it is, while I don't love neurotically tracking data, when you're trying a new training style or something like that, I think it's good to have some data. You should see your HRV steadily increase over time. And a higher HRV, both relative to you and just in general, also means better nervous system flexibility, probably less stress, and just it's a great marker of health and longevity. Warming up here, like I said, bodybuilding day for SovereignFIT. Now again, difference with SovereignFIT, we're not just doing bodybuilding, we're not just, building muscle. We are doing that, but it's also intentionality. We're going to be using breath work, we're going to be using some closing of the eyes, we're going to be using tempo, because again, we want to marry the body with the mind, with our emotional states. And so on a bodybuilding day, you have a great day to build a better mind-muscle connection. And I've talked about this on my Instagram. A mind-muscle connection is not just about feeling your muscles more. It's about building a better connection to self. I feel like so many people are disassociated from their bodies these days, and a lot of the training styles they're doing is causing even more disassociation from their body. They're like numbing themselves to their body. So the goal for this day is, can we build better mind-body connection? Can we drop into our body? Okay, John Kim, the angry therapist, talks about dropping into your body and feeling what's actually going on. And then you go out into your everyday world and you're actually able to feel some of the whispers of the body before they become screams. So that's kind of what we're doing today. And you'll notice, and I'll talk about how we use tempos, we use breath work, all that kind of stuff. So one of the things on this cycle is that this training program, the weeks alternate. So there's like certain movements on the even weeks and then certain movements on the odd weeks. Always focusing kind of same like upper, lower on the strength days, upper, lower on the bodybuilding days. But I find that changing movements week to week help people stay engaged, but there's still linear progression, right? So the odd weeks have their linear progression and the even weeks have their linear progression. So I'm technically on week 3, so I'm on the second week of these movements for bodybuilding, whereas last week it was different movements for bodybuilding. So there's linear progression with it though. So like week 1 started with 10s. This week it's 8s and heavier weight. Okay, so first movement is incline dumbbell bench press. We got 8 reps, but we have strict tempo, 3 second down, 3 second hold with a breath pattern. You're gonna breathe in on the way down, hold while you're holding at the chest, and then breathe out on the way up, combining breathing with our reps. So we're gonna start from up, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Supersetting, we're gonna go right into alternating single arm dumbbell rows, chest support. All right, so we go right into a superset with the rows, chest supported position. It's 8 total. We have a 2-second pause and then down nice and slow. Same thing, matching the breathing with the row. Here we go. We're using 60s for both the bench and the rows. That's 4, or it's 4 total sets. That's set 1. We got 3 more. So we'll rest in between sets here. Why is breathing so important with tempos? It's not just normal, like, well, we got to breathe the brace. All that is true. But when we're breathing in conjunction with a tempo, so like I'm taking a 3-second inhale on my 3-second eccentric and then holding and then breathing out, we're kind of subconsciously and consciously teaching ourselves that we can use our breath to help us overcome tension, tightness, uncomfortableness, right? And so the more you do this style of training, again, whether consciously or subconsciously, you may find moments where you're starting to tense up in your body before an argument or during an argument or in traffic. And all of a sudden you'll notice yourself slowing your breathing down or, trying to use your breath to modulate that tension. And you'll be like, whoa, where's that coming from? It's coming from your training, okay? But so many people, they'll use tempos, right? It's nothing new, but they're not intentional with their breathing. They're not intentional around how they can connect breathing with their rep and then take that to the rest of their daily life. It's not about what you do. It is about how and why you're doing it. And so having a framework where we're connecting some of the things we're doing in here to how it can help you out there build a better mind body connection, use different tools, that's where we're taking the training from the gym into our everyday lives, making a better version of ourselves. Let's get into our third set here. Okay, fourth and final set. I'm gonna really focus on trying to completely match that breath on the way down. I find sometimes when I get tired by this kind of like last set, my breathing speeds up. I think we all notice the more stress we get, the more our breathing speeds up. So intentionally gonna override that. Slow down here a little bit. All right, here we go. One. 2. 3. 1 more. Oh boy. Oh, the burn. Woo! All right. Last set on the rows as well. Here we go. 8 total. 1. 2. 3. All right. Lower body stuff. Go upper body, lower body, bis and tris, and then a carry to finish. So lower body movement. Again, I always like to combine a single joint movement with a multi-joint movement. And again, alternating weeks. So on this week, it's single joint for kind of anterior legs, so quads, right? And then, so that's gonna be lunges. And then I'm gonna combine that with a GHD hip extension, so kind of multi-joint for the glutes posterior. But then on the other week, it's a walking death march. So that's almost like a dual dumbbell single leg Romanian deadlift. So single leg for posterior hinging, combined with a multi-joint for the anterior. Right now on this cycle, I'm just doing leg extensions, right? So single joint, multi-joint, alternate if it's posterior, anterior for those. So we're gonna start with walking lunges, focusing on breathing to match the rep, nice and controlled movements. Notice how, again, with the breathing, it's a breath in on the way down and a breath out on the way up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, on to hip extensions. Okay, with the hip extensions, we're going eyes closed. You might be like, woo woo, here we go. Again, eyes closed drops us into our body. We can really focus on what we're feeling. And I find a lot of people have a hard time feeling their hamstrings. Hamstrings, lats, movements where you have a really hard time finding the muscle or feeling the engagement of the muscle. Close your eyes. Turn off the external noise and watch yourself be able to, in your mind's eye, imagine that muscle group and feel it just a little bit better. This is a controlled movement. I'm not worried about it. I'm gonna close my eyes. I'm gonna give a little pause at the top, and I'm just gonna try to tune in. Do I feel my glutes? Do I feel my hamstrings? If not, I'm gonna try to imagine, squeeze them even harder, see them in my mind's eye. So here we go. Eyes closed. We're gonna rest. What I notice is I have a really hard time feeling my left hamstring. I've also had that hamstring pull on me before, cramp on me before. So, is there anything with that? I don't know, but I feel like my right hamstring, I feel both my glutes pretty well, but my left hamstring. So I'm gonna focus on that on the next time. Another nice thing about this program is because you have so many different styles of days, you can auto-regulate. So for example, today I'm supposed to be doing the strength day. It's a Monday, but went to Cheesecake Factory last night with my wife. She's pregnant and had a sugar rush, so I didn't get great sleep. But instead of just coming in and having to down weight or down reps, I'm able to just switch days. So instead of having the strength day today, just move the bodybuilding day to today. I theoretically could have moved the parasympathetic day to today. I still felt like I had enough energy to do some good bodybuilding stuff. So it's cool. You can move stuff around, you can auto-regulate. And again, that's sovereignty, right? You take control of your training. You can move days around if you need to on this program. You have a day where you don't get good sleep, change the next day to one of the other training programs, the training days. You don't feel like you have to compromise on strength numbers or weightlifting numbers, or when you want to go really intense. You can move a parasympathetic day, bodybuilding day around whatever it needs to be. So, okay, gonna get into some arm stuff here. This is where really single joint, we can really combine everything. Eyes closed, tempo, and breath. So we have 10 dumbbell curls, that's it, but we're gonna do everything. We're gonna close our eyes, we're gonna go slow and controlled, and we're gonna breathe. Okay, so I'm gonna take a breath in first and breathe out on the concentric. God, the pump is real. Okay, bent over flies. This is a deadly little combo here. Here we go. Oh, okay. Woo. All right, last set here. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty pumped up. Crazy thing is, this training session, I'm only like 35 minutes into it. Again, it doesn't take a long time. It's about intentionality. Hope I can get through all 10 of these. I'm pumped right now. Here we go. Let's start off. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. All right, use our breath. Use our breath. Here we go. Ten, 9, 12. Oh my God, so pumped. I wish I was done. Loaded carries. Okay. Okay, so nice little finisher here. Philly carry, 15 seconds per arm, so 30 seconds total, 15 seconds each combo. It's really just a finisher. I'm already pumped up, but again, we're gonna be using kind of box breathing, 4 seconds in, 4-second hold, 4 seconds out, 4-second hold as best we can to, again, use breath under tension. Carries are a great way to, again, work shoulder stability, hip stability, stuff like that. But again, under tension, right, under load, using our breath to overcome the internal chatter, the burn, all of that kind of stuff. So a nice little finisher here for joint stability, but also just combining breath, mind, body, all of it. So that's what we're gonna get into. Rest 30 seconds. So it's not a lot. It's just linking breathing to help us overcome tension, because what I find, the more burn you get, the more tension you get, CO2 builds up, triggers the amygdala, and you get a fear response. Put the weight down, we're dying, spiraling. You breathe, takes all that away. Okay. Last one. We're done for today. This is like a 45-minute workout. I love it. I love it. I got great pump, upper, lower, stability work. I'm out of here under an hour. Chef's kiss. I didn't feel like I had to get all jazzed up too much. I got a great workout, mind-body connection. Finish strong. Okay, that's all she wrote. I'm gonna finish out in a prayer stretch on the bench. Upper body, we're good for day 2, SovereignFIT.